If you're a recurve archer and you haven't balanced your stabilizers properly, chances are it's pulling you out of the gold and costing you points. In this video, we're going to fix that. Now, before we dive into fine-tuning things, I do have to be clear that a lot of times, issues in aiming can be caused by technical issues or shooting too much mass weight or draw weight. Fine-tuning the stabilizers is going to help, but they're not going to totally fix those underlying problems. To reach your potential, it is important to align both the equipment and technique together so that you can shoot your absolute best. With that said, let's get into it. Now, before we get into tweaking the stabilizer setup, we need to identify what your aiming pattern is doing. In order to help with this, we're going to take a target and fold it in quarters. Then unfold the target, flip it around to the blank side, and trace out the cross. This is going to give you a 4-quadrant aiming surface that is going to help you in identifying what your sight pin is doing right now. And from there, we're going to start to make adjustments. Put up this target at a distance you feel comfortable shooting at, between 18 and 70 meters. We always recommend doing this at the distance that you're going to compete at so that we're getting a 1-to-1 comparison. Once your target's set up, go ahead and go through your entire shot process shooting at this cross for about 10 shots or until you start to notice a pattern. What we're going to be looking for is throughout the shot, are there tendencies of your sight pin to move in a particular direction? For example, it may move consistently down and then back up to the center over and over again. It may drift down and to the right and then back to the center. It may have a jittery movement where it wants to kind of come out the top and then back in, then out the left and then back in. Whatever that pattern is, continue shooting until you start to identify some kind of pattern. We always want to address vertical movement first and any horizontal movement second. This is because not only is vertical movement the most common issue, but it's also going to yield you the most benefit when we correct it. Let's say your sight pin's dropping out the bottom. To fix that, we're going to either need to lower the total mass weight or shift the center of gravity away from the target and back towards the archer. Here's how we can do that. Option 1, we can lower the total mass weight. To accomplish this, remove weight from all stabilizers equally to lighten the total mass weight. For example, you can remove 1 ounce from the long rod and 1 ounce from each of your side rods, lightening your total system by 3 ounces in total. Option 2, shift the center of gravity away from the target and back towards your body. To do this, we have a lot of options. We can remove weight from your front rod. We can add weight to your side rods. We can adjust your V-bar angle, making it more narrow and bringing the side rods closer to the riser. This shifts the weight closer to you. We can also shorten your extension or remove it altogether. As a last resort, you may try switching to a shorter front rod or longer side rods. All these options are moving the mass weight from the far end of the stabilizer system back towards you and will counteract the tendency for your sight to drop downwards. Having your sight pin jump above the gold is a bit less common, but it could still happen. If this is the case, we're going to correct for this by either adding to your total mass weight or by shifting the center of gravity forward towards the target. Here's how we do that. Option 1, we can increase your total mass weight. We can do this by adding 1 ounce or more to each of your stabilizers equally, thus increasing the total mass weight while keeping the overall balance and front-to-back ratio consistent. Option 2, we can shift the center of gravity forwards towards the target. To do this, we're going to try one or more of the following options. We can add weight to your front stabilizer. We can remove weight from your side rods. We can adjust the V-bar setup, widening the angle of the side rods and pushing the weight forward. We can add an extension or increase the length of your current extension. As a last resort, we can switch to a longer front rod or shorter side rods. Each of these solutions are pushing the mass weight forward towards the target and counteracting the tendency for the sight pin to jump up. Next, let's talk about lateral movement, left to right. This is often caused by form issues, and it's a bit less common. However, we're still going to talk about how we can adjust lateral movement with your stabilizer balance. To correct movement to the right, we want to shift the center of gravity to the left using any of the following methods. Add some weight to your left side rod, or remove weight from your right side rod. You can also move one or both of the side rods slightly to the left if you have an adjustable V-bar. To correct the sight pin moving to the left, we do the opposite. Shift the center of gravity slightly to the right. We can do this by adding a little weight to the right side rod, removing a little weight from the left side rod, or moving one or both of the side rods slightly to the right using your adjustable V-bar. If the mass weight of the bow is simply too high, you're probably going to keep dropping out of the bottom no matter where you try to shift that balance. On the other hand, if it's super light, you're probably going to notice a very fast, jittery sight pin movement that isn't going to be solved just by redistributing the weight. In that case, we may need to increase the total mass weight a little bit so that we can slow down the sight movement and see what's really happening. If you're noticing a lot of left to right movement with your sight pin, and that is a result of a technical issue, it's probably something called canting, which is when we're tilting the bow left to right. This is going to show up in the sight picture. So if you're noticing a lot of horizontal movement in your sight pin, have a friend or coach stand behind you and let you know if that's going on. So that covers everything about how to fine-tune your stabilizers for better aim. Make sure to recheck aiming at our cross target after every change we make so that we know we're on the right track. This process can sound a little daunting, but if we go about it methodically, step by step, you will improve your sight pin movement. And you're going to learn more about how your stabilizers affect your shooting in the process. This is also going to help you learn to be more sensitive to feedback from the bow, which makes you a better archer. Thanks for watching. If you want to learn more about how to set up your stabilizers, check out some more of the videos here on the RamRods Archery YouTube channel or visit our website to learn more.